The sky is clear and the early summer sun is so warm that people can't help but want to find a recliner to take a good nap on it. A young man is lying under a cherry blossom tree with a book titled Earth United History on his face. The paper book, judging from the slight snoring sound from under the book, the teenager was taking a nap, and for a while, there was only the sound of the wind blowing over the leaves, as if time had slowed down. Suddenly a bell rang, breaking the silence in the afternoon. The young man lazily rolled over to the right, the book slipped off his face, rubbed his eyes, and put the communicator on his left wrist to his face. The name on it was Father. What the hell, interrupting my nap time, why did my father think of contacting me? The teenager muttered to himself, scratching his head, sitting up, and turning on the communicator. The communicator projected a display interface about the size of A4 paper. In the interface was a middle-aged man about 38, black. The golden pupil, the national character face, and the character who on the lips look very majestic. He is dressed in a black and white military uniform. Looking at the general star on his shoulder, he should be a lieutenant general. The middle-aged man sees his son's lazy appearance. He sighed. His son was very smart, but he was spoiled by his mother since he was a child. Although he is not as dull as other children, his lazy temper is really helpless. After waiting for a while, seeing his son fully awake, the lieutenant coughed. "I'll bring the guests back in a while, so take care of yourself, don't shame me, have you heard?" Hearing this, the young man was shocked. Normally his father's guests are people about his age. Why should you let yourself be with him this time? Although thinking about this in his heart, the boy agreed not slowly. "I see, when will you be back?" "Well, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I have finished dealing with the affairs here, and I will go back in an hour. Then, I will continue to be busy." After the boy answered, the communication was closed. "Then go back to the house." Seeing his father shut down the communication, the boy stood up and patted the dust behind him, reached out and picked up the book, and walked towards the house. Went back to his bedroom, put the book on the table, pulled the chair in front of the table and sat on it, resting his chin with one hand, staring at the electronic watch on the table, which shows the time CE. May 23, 68, 1406. That's right. This is the calendar of Gundam Seed, and this young man is our protagonist who has been here for less than 3 days, Sun Jin, an ordinary college student. Passing is too untechnical these days. I obviously slept in the dormitory and crossed as soon as I opened my eyes. Thanks to my excellent psychological quality, I often read novels at a certain point, otherwise I won't be scared to death. Sun Jin combed her hair in front of the mirror on the table while she thought about it. Coincidentally, the body passing through is also called Sun Jin, which saves you the trouble of being called. Sun Jin, 13 years old, is from Yongning City, Yanhuang District, East Asian Republic, and his father is the commander of the 1st Army of Yanhuang Military Region. Grandpa is one of the 3 consuls. The East Asian Republic is jointly governed by the 3 consuls. So Sun Jin is a veritable son of a senior official. His mother is the chairman of a comprehensive group. The group is involved in all fields. Under the group name there is also an equipment research and development department dedicated to serving the military. Although it was a traversal, the East Asian Republic had basically no information in the plot, so Sun Jin is still stunned, and can only learn about the world from books, because Sun Jin was originally a lazy but likes to read a child. Sun Jin's actions will not seem strange, and this has also provided him with a convenient understanding of the world. After reading several books in the past 3 days, he has gained a lot of understanding of the world of CE, due to the contradiction between natural persons and adjusters. Intensify, the resolution was adopted as the top priority. The council members carried out armed demonstrations and expanded their armament response. The cargo ship transporting food from South America was sunk, it caused the sacrifice of hundreds of adjusters, and the tension rose to the highest level in one breath. "Okay, it's finished, but black hair and golden eyes are really rare. I thought Orientals in this world would also have black hair and black eyes. Isn't the world view different? After finishing looking in the mirror, Sun Jin looked at her black-haired and gold-kneed Zhengtai's face and complained, thanks to the blessing of her parents' appearance and genes. Although she is still a good-looking woman, she has a good impression on her delicate face. He is a handsome man. Calling the system in my heart, a light blue screen appeared in Sun Jin's field of vision. There was also this system that didn't know what its purpose was in the world with him. It showed that the system was not activated. I tried all the methods. I recited the second slogan silently, and matched the posture to a dark flame. However, the system did not respond as if it was shut down. Sighing and shutting down the system, Sun Jin held his chin and continued in a daze. There are still 3 years since the beginning of the plot. If this broken system is not open, do I really have to rely on the operation of a natural person to fight the protagonists? I will be rubbed back and forth on the ground. Forget it, I'll read the book. Thinking of this, Sun Jin picked up a copy of the Ma operating system from the desk and read it. Because of his father, Sun Jin has learned a lot of military knowledge since he was a child. After coming to this world, the memory in his brain quickly followed self-fusion, so it's not hard to read the book at all. Time passed quickly, the set alarm clock sounded, and at 14:55, Sun Jin closed the book and came out from the bedroom to go to the hallway to wait for his father and his guests. After a while, 2 black suspension cars drove over. Father got off the first car and Sun Jin greeted him. "Father, you are back." Sun Jin's father Sun Xian nodded. "I'll introduce you. This is George Alsta, the Deputy Foreign Affairs Officer of the Atlantic Federation, and his daughter Free Alsta." Sun Jin was speechless when he saw the 2 people who had dropped off the second car. Isn't this Frey and her dad in the plot? How did he appear here? How did a foreign affairs officer know his father? There is so much difference in the official positions of the 2. George was my classmate in college and also a friend of mine. This time he is here for work and to see me. "Xiao Jin, what are you doing in a daze?" Sun Xian asked strangely when he saw his son stunned there. Hearing her father's question, Sun Jin subconsciously replied, "Ah, because I saw the beautiful girl in a daze." Oops, I was so surprised when I saw that Frey subconsciously spoke according to his original character. Although Frey had a bad personality in the original plot, her appearance still fits Sun Jin's aesthetic very well. Sun Jin was thinking about herself at the time. If you are in the seed, you must make Frey a good girl. My father must scold me now, and molested his daughter in front of his father. However, hearing Sun Jin's words, Sun Xian and George laughed unanimously, but Fulei shyly hid behind her father. Seeing the reaction of these 3 people, Sun Jin flashed an idea. Could it be that he was about to meet the legendary fiancé plot, and then his father's words really confirmed Sun Jin's thoughts? "George, it seems we don't need to worry about it. My son, I have a photo with your daughter." "Haha, it looks like this, Frey, don't hide, come, this is what I told you about your uncle Sun Xian's son, Sun Jin, who is 1 year older than you, is also your fiancé, how about it, isn't it? Like your father I said, he is a very handsome young man. Although the 12-year-old Free has not grown up yet, she is also a very cute little loli. Her burgundy hair is tied into a ponytail with a white ribbon. The lavender knee-length dress reveals a piece of milk as warm. On the calf, a pair of strapless sandals with the same color on the feet, the silver-grey watery eyes and the slightly rosy face because of shyness, make people want to hug and rub their face. Fulei, hiding behind her father, slowly walked out to say hello to Sun Jin. "Brother Sun Jin, hello." It may be that Sun Jin's straightforward words just made Fulei still shy. Fulei's voice is very small, and Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com blushes. While I was talking, I was thinking that this is the marriage contract that my father told me before. The straight compliment is really too shy, but this brother is very good looking. He secretly looked up and found that the other person was also looking at him, lowered his head shyly, and Zhang Di grabbed his father's cuff. Looking at the cute lowly version of Frey, and comparing her with the wayward eldest lady in the later drama, Sun Jin is more determined to develop this little lowly into a good girl. As for the great god of Kira, there is Lakis, that's enough. As for how the plot will develop, I'll talk about it at that time. Sun Jin showed a gentle smile at this thought, saying hello to George and Frey. Uncle George, I've come from afar to work hard for you, Frey, right? Hello, I'm Sun Jin. Well, standing at the door is not good to chat, let's go into the living room and talk. After Sun Qian read the introduction, he greeted a few people to enter the house. Sun Qian watched the three enter the room and secretly cheered. The first step in crossing this world is to develop Fulei, long live the journey. Xiaojin, what are you still doing at the door, come in quickly? Father's voice came. Okay, come here soon. Just as Sun Jin walked into the house, the system sound suddenly sounded, the system update is complete, and the world line change is detected. Complete the mission, become Frey's fiancé task reward. The singer system is turned on, the system update is complete, and the newbie package has been sent. Do I need to receive it now? Yes/no. Hearing this news, Sun Jin laughed. Although there is no time to understand the system yet, it seems that this system will certainly not be bad. After all, the system with a novice gift package will not be bad. It seems that today is a double happiness. Sun Jin hummed a cheerful song and walked into the room quickly. Went into the living room and saw that several people were seated, the maid served tea, and Sun Jin hurriedly sat next to his father. After Sun Jin sat down, Sun Qian's majestic voice sounded. Xiaojin, I made an agreement with your Uncle George when he was in college. If you have children in the future, if they are of the same sex, let him/them be your best friends. You meet with Frey, let the two of you get familiar with it. As a result, your kid likes others the first time you meet, but that's okay. Frey will stay at our house for the next 6 months. You have to take care of her. Next year, you two will go to the college together. Before you were taught by a tutor, you can't be so lazy when you get to school, you know. Hearing his father's words, Sun Jin hurriedly straightened up. I know my father. Seeing that his son is not as lazy as before, Sun Qian nodded. That's it, the guest room opposite you on the second floor will be occupied by Frey. You can take her around, I have something to talk with your Uncle George. When Sun Jin heard this, she gave Fulei a handsome smile and stretched out her hand. Na Fulei, let me take you to your room. The opposite Fulei saw Sun Jin's smile, although she was very shy, but still stretched out his hand to hold Sun Jin's hand, and obediently followed Sun Jin out of the living room. Judging from your son's performance, he likes my daughter very much. She deserves to be my daughter, the cutest in the world, haha. George laughed happily. Okay, I know that your daughter is cute. Since you had a child, you guys always send me pictures of your daughter. You are the daughter of you, but when Xiaojin marries Frey, this child is also my daughter. You won't be able to show me in the future. Sun Qian was irritated by George's words and smiled helplessly, then replied with a slight counterattack. Hey, it's a bargain for your son, but it's okay, after the two of them have children, my grandson must be named after me. You guy, it's too early to say this. Let's talk about business. The Atlantic sent you here to fight for Union. Considering our relationship, how is it going now, and the relationship with you? Hearing Sun Qian's question, George took a sip of tea with bitterness on his face. It's not optimistic. The relationship between the two sides has been in the same situation, and now there is some frequent contact between Blue Cosmos and high-level officials. Are these planning to provoke war? Although I hate adjusters, war can be deadly. Are the previous lessons not enough? At this point, George thumped the table angrily, and the tea in the cup was shaken out. Don't get excited about George, let's go, I'll talk to my old man. It's messy enough now. At least we have to remain neutral. This is the case with an Atlantic Federation. If the Republic of East Asia joins, the equilibrium is broken and it's not a joke. I'm sorry to trouble you, then I'll go, and then I have to go to Nanjing, Frey will ask you. George calmed down and stood up and said. Okay, I'll take you to the airport. I'll call these two children. After that, the two of them left the living room and walked to the hallway. Xiaojin, Frey, you two come down, George is going to leave. I know. The voice of two children came upstairs, and then came downstairs, the grandson who was visiting with Frey. Jin and Fulei walked down together, and when they saw the two parents of the hallway, they said hello. Uncle George, are you leaving? Yes, I have something to do next, Frey will leave it to you to take care of her. Don't bully her. Why, don't you worry, I will take care of her. Sun Jin replied in a firm voice. Hearing Sun Jin's answer, George patted him on the shoulder with satisfaction, then squatted down. Frey threw himself into his father's arms, and the voice of grievance came out. Dad, Fulei will miss you and will get along well with brother Sun Jin. George finished listening, holding his daughter's hands tightly, and then reluctant to let go of her daughter, stood up and rubbed her daughter's head. Then father is gone. Actuan, let's go. Okay, I'll send you, Xiaojin, I'm leaving with your Uncle George. You take care of Fulei and help her clean up the bedroom. What is missing? Find housekeeper Chen, do you know? Sun Qian solemnly told Sun Jin, and when he saw Sun Jin nodding in agreement, he went out with George and got in the car. Sun Jin and Fulei escorted them to the door, and waved goodbye to the two at the door. Fulei endured her tears. Seeing the wronged Fulei, Sun Jin stretched out her hand and rubbed her head. The two people were about the same height. Fulei felt Sun Jin's care and wiped her tears with the back of her hand. Brother Sun Jin, I'm fine, let's go in. Next, with the help of Steward Chen, Fulei's bedroom was arranged in the style of a little princess similar to her bedroom. By the way, she told Fulei a few small jokes, which made her happy again. When she was tired, she would rest and wake her up before dinner. The little girl nodded. After lying down, Sun Jin held her hand and hummed an earth song to her. Under the hypnotism of the song, no, I fell asleep in a while. Seeing that Fulei was asleep, Sun Jin waited for more than 10 minutes. Seeing that Fulei was asleep, she quietly left the room and returned to her own room. System, now receive the novice gift pack. Sun Jin sat in a chair, excitedly opened the system and prepared to receive the gift package. By the way, let's take a look at what functions this system has. Character panel: Person, Sun Jin attack, 4 defense, 3 dodge, 2 hit, 6 skill, none mission point, 0 evaluation, ordinary people who have not yet grown up. Occupation, not selected. Yes. Seeing this horrible attribute, Sun Jin helplessly rubbed his forehead. Although he is still a child, this poor singular attribute is a person who has simply lost the traverser. Everyone is traversing long AOT into him. Maybe even the miscellaneous soldiers can't beat it. Continue to look down. There are branch systems for various professions. Pilot virtual training ground can be trained to improve attributes. The time is 1:2 is equivalent to 2 days have passed since the training field in the past day in the real world. Virtual training ground for mechanics. You can learn the principles of Gundam and battleship design and the manufacturing principles of various parts in it. The time is also 1:2. Diva virtual training ground. It can be used for singer training and song exchange, and the song is the kind that can be added to people. Through the fold wave in the singer's body and the resonance of the song, it can temporarily strengthen the human body. The action time is 1 hour, and the songs can be superimposed. But the upper limit is 3. Seeing this, Sun Jin is a little confused. The first 2 are okay, the last one is to make herself a singer? Singer of the wind? Sing Li Yifeng? Fortunately, there are still labels in the system. The songs exchanged by the singer system can be used by other singers with fold waves in their bodies to sing, but the training field is not needed. The song exchange is exchanged in the mall for the mission points obtained by completing the mission. Sun Jin points to the mall, which is divided according to 3 occupations. There are simulation training cabins for the trainers, and there are various pilot suits with attributes from D to S. Each level adds different attributes, D plus 2 points, C plus 4 points, and so on. There are a variety of Gundam and battleship design drawings that the mechanics learned, and the rest is a variety of songs, from Gundam to Macross. Sun Jin even saw Zhangji's best song, but when he saw the redemption points, he looked at his own 0. The task point silently closed the mall, the poor can't afford to hurt them. At this time, the system reminds that the novice gift package has been distributed, and Sun Jin can't wait to open the novice gift package, a song, a pilot's uniform, and 3 drawings. Okay, I can't expect any good things in the novice gift package, just see it. Something. Sun Jin comforted herself and looked carefully one by one. Elite pilot uniform grade B attribute bonus, all attributes plus 60, good thing, although it is a B grade, it is not bad. This is enough in the early stage of the plot. After all, the protagonist's awakening seed and playing Wushuan on the battlefield are all in the middle and late stages of the plot. Use this to fight Kira and the others in the early stage. Soy sauce is totally fine. The song is Linfinity of Zhangji's best song, attack attribute plus 10, hit attribute plus 15, song skills, blood. This song is great. When the time comes, I will bring a team of people. When the friendly channel is opened, I will push the opposite side every minute, but this skill is passionate, how can I look so familiar? Continue to look at the 3 drawings, which are the phase transfer armor system, the beam weapon miniaturization system, and the MS operating system. Seeing this, Sun Jin stood up excitedly. With these things, she can design and manufacture Gundams by herself before the plot begins. It just so happens that her mother has a special R&D department, and discusses with her father to develop a self-developed one. Then, they threw the technology to the R&D department and let them study the mass production machine. After the plot began, it was not a war between the United and Zoft. Now the East Asian Republic will participate in the war. The 3 sides will have a positive impact on the plot, but in this world, power has the right to speak. Kira and the others later ensured Orb's neutrality because of force. Therefore, creation must be created. Special machines plus mass production machines are not going sideways in this world. It happened to have learned how to paint by myself, what kind of style to build. Sun Jin began to think about the Gundam that she had seen. After thinking about it, I made a decision. I turned on the computer terminal on the desk and started to draw the design. My Gundam was prepared to take the reversal Gundam as the main body. The deformation function and hand equipment were removed, and the right hand added the same compound style as the angel guns and swords. UU reading www.uuganshu.com also adds an angel style shield on the left hand. The main color is lavender, white embellishment, and the skeleton part is dark gray. The tentative height of 18.5 meters is a bit higher than the future Freedom. After busying for about 2 hours, I finally drew the body from memory. I looked at the time at 6:29, it was time for dinner. Save the design drawings, and maintain a body whose movements have become a little stiff. Sun Jin walked out of the bedroom and went to the living room to find the maid who asked her to prepare dinner. Today, Fu Lei also had dinner for 4. Then she went to the kitchen to heat a glass of milk and brought her to Fu Lei. He walked to the front of Fu Lei's room and knocked. The door didn't respond. She looked like she was still asleep. Sun Jin gently pushed open the door, walked to the bed and put the milk on the small cupboard beside the bed, and then sat down on the side of the bed. Maybe it was because she felt someone. Fu Lei woke up and found that Sun Jin was sitting on the bed and looking at her. She was a little shy. Brother Sun Jin, are you going to have dinner? Yeah, so I'm here to wake you up. By the way, there is a glass of milk here. Would you like to drink it? Sorry, I forgot to ask if you like it. Thank you, brother Sun Jin. Fu Lei took the cup in both hands and slowly finished the drink, then put down the cup and thanked Sun Jin with a sweet smile. Seeing the sweet smile of the little girl in front of him, Sun Jin became more determined to protect the girl. Then let's go down and wait for father and mother to come back to eat together. Sun Jin stretched out her hand to Fu Lei, and Fu Lei hesitated for a moment and then held his hand tightly. She knew that starting from today, her father had been telling herself about this little brother who was 1 year older than her. She has officially become her fiancé, and no one knows what will happen in the future, but she decided to believe in this somewhat gentle little brother through the short contact for a long time. Sent a message to her parents asking when they would return, and got a reply. Sun Jin saw that there was still some time before her parents came back, and she chatted with Frey in the living room. What does Fu Lei usually do? I usually study with the tutor my dad invited, and sometimes I go out with my dad. Frey replied in a cheerful voice, and she seemed to like to go out with her dad. Hey, why not play with mom? Mom passed away when Fu Lei was a child. Hearing Sun Jin's question, Fu Lei immediately lost her energy and replied dully. Seeing Fu Lei's reaction, Sun Jin secretly scolded herself as an idiot. Judging from the fact that Fu Lei didn't mention her mother, she should be able to guess that there was such a thing, but she actually asked it directly. Sorry. It's okay, Frey still has her father, and father will be with her. Frey regained her spirit. It seems that this is the reason. In the plot, Fu Lei became that way because of the loss of her father, and her only relative died in front of her, so it's strange not to go crazy. Sun Jin looked at Fu Lei's expression and thought in her heart. In order to change her mood, Sun Jin turned on the TV in the living room. It was playing the live live of idol singer Feng Minjiu. The quiet living room was full of soft music. Wow, it's Feng Minjiu. Seeing the people on TV, Fu Lei stood up excitedly. Sun Jin was a little surprised when she saw the excited Fu Lei. Could it be said that Fu Lei liked the singer very much? Does Fu Lei like her very much? Brother Sun Jin doesn't know, she is a new idol singer who debuted recently, her debut single is super nice, even the song she is going to sing now, Frey will sing it too. As the opening prelude sounded, Frey made a look like she was going to sing along. Seeing that Fu Lei was very interested in singing, Sun Jin thought that she happened to have a singer system. It would be better to train Fu Lei as a singer. After the plot began, she could follow her to protect her. I'm being forgotten the dusty street looking for the lost thing. Even if you have red eyes praying softly, I also turn a deaf ear. The girl named Feng Minjiu on TV slowly sang a slightly sad song in a soft voice outside the TV. Fu Lei sang along with her childish voice. Sun Jin listened to Fu Lei's singing and couldn't help but close her eyes to appreciate it carefully. After the song ended, Fu Lei sat back on the sofa, and Sun Jin opened her eyes and clapped. It's great to sing. Has Frey learned to sing? Hey, isn't it? I have studied with the music teacher my father invited for a while, but it's the first time for Frey to sing to others. Before, I sang it by myself. Fu Lei narrowed her eyes when she heard the praise, shaking her legs happily. It's very nice. If Frey wants to, you can also be an idol. Sun Jin followed Frey's words and put forward her own thoughts. Really, Fu Lei also thought about becoming an idol, but she never made up his mind. Brother Sun Jin said so, Fu Lei will give it a try. Fu Lei clasped her small fist to cheer herself up. Oh! Then I'm the #1 fan of Fu Lei, Sun Jin said with a smile looking at Fu Lei's cute appearance. Then turned on the system to Frey. Frey Alsta is the owner of the singer's qualification. Seeing the system display, Sun Jin breathed a sigh of relief. If Fu Lei couldn't become a singer, she would have worked in vain. Talk to her mother during dinner. Mother's group must have an entertainment company under it, and Frey is here to conduct professional training for her during the past 6 months. Then the two talked about other topics. It may be that Fu Lei is still young. She did not resist the adjuster as in the original work. This made Sun Jin feel relieved. With him, she must not let Fule become like that. Let him proceed with Freeze 3 views. The singer-girl development plan is launched. After chatting for a while, Sun Jin's mother Qin Yu is back. Sun Jin's mother is 37 years old, with long black hair hanging down to her waist, her slightly heroic face, her black eyes gleaming with confidence, and a black lady suit enveloping her proud body. The height of 1.75 meters makes her look like a strong woman. However, at this time, she has no strong woman style, holding free and constantly rubbing her face with her face while rubbing against each other. Exclaimed, "How could that guy George have such a cute daughter?" Fule was shy and overwhelmed and could only look at Sun Jin for help. Seeing her mother's reaction, Sun Jin shrugged helplessly. "Mother, pay attention to the image, and you scared Frey." Qin Yu, who heard his son's words and noticed that he was gaff, quickly let go of Fule. "Sorry, little Frey, Auntie is so excited. After all, your father George has always shown off photos to us. This is the first time I have seen you in person. However, I think that the cute little Frey will be our young Jin's fiancé. Auntie, I'm so happy. Frey is still satisfied with our Zyajin. In the future, if this kid dares to bully you, he will come to me, and I will help you beat him." After that, she messed up Sun Jin hair. Hearing Qin Yu's words, Fule waved her hand shyly. "It's okay, brother Sun Jin didn't bully me, he treated me very well, and he listened to me singing, and brother Sun Jin is also very handsome." The little girl said that she couldn't lift her shy head anymore. Sun Jin scratched her face and was liked by a cute little loli, a little happy and a little embarrassed. Seeing the reaction of the two, Qin Yu smiled. At this moment, Sun Xian also came back and called the maid to prepare dinner. The four of them began to eat dinner. Fule and Sun Jin sat on one side, and Sun Xian and Qin Yu sat on the other side. Aside. Ate 2 bites of food, put a piece of chicken for Fule. Accepting the thankful eyes of the other party, Sun Jin spoke to her mother. "Mother, does your company have an entertainment company in Yongning City?" "Yes, what do you ask this for?" Qin Yu asked strangely after swallowing the rice. "That's it. I chatted with Frey today. She has the idea of becoming an idol. I want her to go to a professional place to study. It can be regarded as Frey finding something to do for her during this time in our house. Is this Frey? Professional training is very hard." Well, this was decided by discussing with brother Sun Jin today. Brother Sun Jin said he would support me, and I want to try hard. Well, I'll let someone take you to tomorrow. Qin Yu thought for a while and agreed to their request. Upon hearing this, Fule and Sun Jin looked at each other and laughed silently. Seeing the children's reaction, Qin Yu touched Sun Xian and quietly leaned over and whispered in Sun Xian's ear. "You see, these two children have been in such a good relationship for a while." Sun Xian looked at the two children who were laughing, and took a sip of the soup slowly. "Isn't that great, and you always wanted a daughter before?" Upon hearing this, Qin Yu gave her husband a blank eye. "Do you blame me for not having a daughter? It's not because someone didn't work hard." Hearing his wife's teasing, Qin Xian couldn't help but choked. Hearing her father's coughing sound, Sun Jin, who was concentrating on eating, looked at her parents strangely. Just now, her mother seemed to have said something to his father. "Father, what's wrong with you? It's okay, eat." Sun Xian calmed down. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com looked at his wife who continued to eat like a okay person, and quickly ended the topic. After eating, everyone went back to the room and prepared to go to bed. Sun Jin sat on the bed and prepared to take out the things he got. He turned on the system and took it. Hey, a white pilot suit appeared on the bed in front of Sun Jin. A piece of music score and 3 white data terminals. Tried the pilot's suit, the system is good, fit and comfortable. After looking at the data terminal and music score, Sun Jin decided to take the music score to the company tomorrow to let Frey do it. Try singing, and then take back two things except the music score into the system, and then simply wash up and lie down on the bed. With his hands behind his head, Sun Jin felt a little emotional. Today, the system turned on again and she became Frey's fiancé. It was really amazing. With the help of the system, she must protect Frey. That is to say, I am a little worried about the future. After all, animation is only animation. The war in this world is genuine. Thinking about it, Sun Jin felt that she couldn't open her eyes and fell asleep slowly. And in the secret factory in the city of Mayos outside of the Earth, where the lights are bright, everyone is busy, and huge humanoid weapons are assembled with the help of large robotic arms. This is exactly the humanoid being built. Mobile Weapon MS Gene. Patrick Sala, who established the military organization ZAFT with the as an opportunity, is patrolling around the factory, watching the formation of MSS. As a hawk, he is very satisfied. The increasingly tense form makes Patrick. I think that mediation is no longer possible. In that case, use force to make those sad natural persons realize the gap between the two sides, and the secretly developed MS gene is the biggest trump card. If natural persons really provoked a war, then ZAFT would let them see the real power. After activating the system, Sun Jin's consciousness came to a place similar to the Archangel Naku, where two collectives were parked. One was a mass-produced assault dagger, and the other was a mass-produced heresy M1. Sun Jin was so excited when he saw the two machines, he immediately asked the system if he could try it on the machine, and then got a ruthless refusal from the system. He had to study the system distribution operation course before he could actually operate the machine. Learning is the most annoying. Silently complained, but in order to be able to operate the body, Sun Jin could only sit down at the desk provided by the system and start the Hell-style course study. Time passed slowly. From 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, 5 hours later, Sun Jin, who had spent 10 hours studying in the system, woke up. Sun Jin, who was lying in bed unloved, uttered a mournful cry. It is so easy to watch the protagonist in the animation, how to learn a course here is so difficult. After 10 hours of knowledge destruction, Sun Jin remembered it. The first chapter of the course, and the operation course has 10 chapters. Sure enough, the buttons in the cockpit are not displayed. I pinched my temples with a headache and stood up to move my body. Fortunately, there is systematic help. I only need to learn it. The course will not be forgotten, and it will be integrated quickly. In order to operate the body as soon as possible, this course must be completed as quickly as possible. However, Sun Jin, who encouraged him, didn't know that after the first stage of the course, there were second and third stages, and it would be a month after he had finished learning all the operations for the first time. Contacted Fu Lei and learned that she had finished class at 5 o'clock. Sun Jin could only open her terminal and browse the news on the internet to pass the time. Alsta, thanks for your hard work, this is the end of today's class. The dance teacher saw that it was 4:30, and let Frey, who had been sweating profusely, finish today's training. Hearing the teacher's voice, Fu Lei stopped panting and thanked the teacher, then went to the bathroom to rinse, and lay down on the massage chair in the lounge on the second floor. For a long time, Frey had no goals. The idea of becoming an idol was just an idea. Sun Jin's praise and affirmation gave Frey a lot of confidence. The fiancé who just met has a lot of personality and looks. Frey, who is still a little girl, likes it very much, and he wrote a song to himself just because he said that he wanted to be an idol, and it was so nice, which made Frey firmer in his ideas. So the first day of study today Fu Lei was not tired at all, she was studying knowledge wholeheartedly. She wanted to become an idol earlier, so that her brother Sun Jin could be the real #1 fan. Thinking of this, Fu Lei laughed happily. What do you think of, so happy? Sun Jin's gentle voice came. Turning her head, Fu Lei found that Sun Jin was leaning against the lounge door and looking at her. "Brother Sun Jin, Fu Lei is happy for today's class." Seeing that Sun Jin is coming, Fu Lei hurriedly put away her cautious thinking to cover up. "Well, it seems that it is the right thing to let Fu Lei come to study. Have we rested? Let's go home." Hearing Sun Jin's words, Fu Lei closed the massage chair, ran to Sun Jin and took the initiative. Suspended Sun Jin's hand. "Let's go, then Frey will eat more today, I'm so hungry." The act of holding hands by Frey made Sun Jin stunned for a moment, and then he noticed the little girl's slightly strong hand, which made Sun Jin feel warm. It seemed that Frey had accepted him too, so he also held Frey slightly harder. Hands. Feeling Sun Jin's reaction, Fu Lei secretly glanced at Sun Jin, with a happy smile on her face, which made the cute girl look even more beautiful. So in the evening, the eyes of the young man and the girl in the Sun's family met inadvertently. Then they moved away a little shyly. Looking at the two, Sun Xian and his wife seemed to have discovered something. They looked at each other tacitly and smiled. "The food in the Sun family tonight is more than usual some." In the following days, Sun Jin sent Fu Lei to class in the morning, and entered the system training when she returned home. He picked up Fu Lei back in the afternoon, and then the family happily ate and chatted together in the evening. The time passed day by day. 3 months later, at 1920 on August 24, Hall 2, Yongning City Cultural Center Free, who has trained hard, finally completed all the courses and made her official debut under the planning of manager Zhou. Today is her first concert. When she debuted, a PV of Linfinity was released on the internet, which made many people become fans of Frey. Sun Jin also used the mission points to exchange for a new song for Frey because of the completion of the system course. Boundary Breakthrough Beat Attack Attribute plus 10 Defense Attribute plus 10 Song Skill, Soul and an Amethyst Ring that can increase the singer's abilities. Sun Jin specially gave it to Frey on the day she released the song. Frey happily put the ring on the of her left hand. Today's fleet wears a knee-length song suit mainly in white, supplemented by lavender, small black leather shoes, and hairstyles. The whole person looks very energetic. And in these 3 months, Sun Jin also became a class pilot through the help of the system. Person, Sun Jin Attack, 12 Defense, 9 Dodge, 6 Hit, 18 Skill, none Mission Point, 0 Evaluation. Natural person recruits pilot's occupation, class pilot, mechanic. Although the evaluation can only be a natural man pilot, but in just 3 months with the help of the system, he has become a pilot who can use the assault dagger to do a variety of simple offensive and defensive actions. Sun Jin has already very satisfied, and for a while, he also conducted simple mechanic training and learned part of the phase transfer armor system. Just as Sun Jin browsed the system casually, the prelude to Sing Linfinity sounded and the concert began. Because it's just debuted, there are not many fans of Frey, and there are only more than 1,000 people present. The second hall that can accommodate 2,000 people is not full, but the enthusiasm of the people is very high. Like a winded ocean, Sun Jin hurriedly sat waiting for Frey's performance. Because it was a concert held by her own company, Sun Jin naturally sat in the first row of the audience area, as he said, as Frey's #1 fan should do this. Just take off towards the air, start here towards tomorrow, the best symphonic, turning the sound into a bunch. The dream in the chest is still there? Tomorrow's singing does still exist? As if to burst out your strong and passionate burst here, turning into an infinite soul. Lead each other's hands together, infinity. Along with the exciting music, Frey sang the song in a slightly naive voice, and the audience waved light sticks in excitement. Looking at Frey, who was shining the brightest on the stage, thought of her original ending, Sun Jin smiled with satisfaction. This girl finally became Frey Alsta, who was completely different from the plot. When watching anime, there are many things that I don't like. Now that I have come to this world, let him change these. After singing a song, Frey introduced herself to the audience. Good evening everyone. This is Frey Alsta. Welcome to my debut concert today, thank you. The audience under the stage cheered and waved light sticks to answer Frey. Thank you very much for your love, so I will sing the second song next. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com, are you ready? After studying, Frey is now able to deal with this kind of scene very well. It is not like the one who was still nervous when seeing strangers at the time. This made Sun Jin admire very much. If he changes to the stage, she will definitely stammer nervously. In response to Frey's more intense cheers, and then the music rang, Frey prepared for the second song, because this is just debuting, so except for the first song at the beginning and the ending song at the end, Sun Jin prepared the others. 10 songs are the songs of other artists in the company. To sing 12 songs in a concert of more than an hour, Sun Jin is a little worried about whether Frey's physical strength can keep up. Fortunately, the other artists of the company went up to interact with Fule and let Fule take a short break, and then sang 2 songs with Fule. The cheers from the audience continued to make Sun Jin understand the possibilities. Fans are not only for Fule, but Sun Jin believes that after listening to Fule's singing, this group of people will definitely become Fule's fans. At this time, Sun Jin heard the cheers from the fans. Free Zhang Sai Gao. Fule Zhang, I love you. Hearing that Sun Jin was a little jealous, but thinking that this was just the love of fans, Fule's feelings for herself must be stronger than this, so she was relieved. Lei's meticulous care has already won Fule's heart. On a sunny afternoon, the little girl finally kissed him on the cheek under her own tree. It made him happy to walk for a week, and to his grandson. Jin's behavior indicated that his helpless parents could only make the maid watch him stop hitting the door, that is, after that, Sun Jin gave another song and ring to Frey. Now the relationship between the two of them is very good, and Frey has already from the sky down to the direction of childhood sweethearts, the relationship between the two people has become deeper and deeper. Thank you very much. Next is the last song. Then, please listen to the new song and break the limit of beat. Seeing that after singing 11 songs, the tired and sweaty fleet was about to sing the last song. Sun Jin felt a little distressed. Isn't it too early to let her as a little girl be an idol, but watching her with a dazzling light on the stage, with a satisfying smile on her face, Sun Jin denied this idea again. It's fine for now, and her current passion for singing makes her completely unwilling to mind this. Stretched out his right hand, determined to make a breakthrough, from the sound that echoed in my name is asking, why? Why? Before he took the courage without hesitation, wrapped into your fist cheer up. Use a straight line anyway to convey. Try your best to dive forward hit through to you as long as the song in my heart still has a breath believe clenched use the true colors to bloom a flower that will never fall shout loudly and sing until the meter bursts when the local sound I want to use these hands to protect everything with this singing voice. Always implement and let faith burn fiercely absolutely. Will not let go of your hands. Sang exciting songs with all his energy, Frey's enthusiasm ignited the hearts of the audience, and more enthusiastic cheers echoed in the venue. Sun Jin was infected and joined the cheers. With the end of the music, Frey finally sang the last song, thanking the audience, and slowly exiting to the audience's dissatisfaction and fierce applause. The broadcast also sounded in a timely manner. The audience left the venue in an orderly manner while walking. While sharing today's mood with friends who came with me, and seeing the audience's reaction, Sun Jin felt that the concert must have been a great success. From today onwards, Frey's reputation will definitely rise sharply. Thinking of this, Sun Jin hurriedly walked to the backstage, ready to condolences Fule. I walked through the backstage to the door of the lounge, knocked gently on the door, and Frey's voice came from the door, please come in. Ah, it's brother Sun Jin, hee, I saw you on the stage today, and I still cheered for me below. Frey is very happy, how about Frey's performance today? It was Sun Jin who saw her walking in. Fule, who was sitting in a chair resting, put down the water bottle in her hand and asked Sun Jin grinningly. Frey is the best. Seeing your performance on stage, I was stunned below, and I can't see the tension at all when I sing. If it changes, I can't speak when I'm nervous. Thank you. Now, how about it? I'm not tired. When Sun Jin heard Fu Lei's question, she laughed and picked up the towel hung on the chair while wiping off her sweat. Happily closed her eyes and enjoyed Sun Jin wiping her sweat. Fu Lei shook her head. It's okay. I see people cheering for me because I feel happy because of my singing. With these, I feel that my body is showing infinite power. Brother Sun Jin, thank you for your support and let me make up my mind to do it. An idol. Hearing Fu Lei's words, put her sweaty hand on top of her head and rubbed her hair through the towel. Do we both need to say this, but since it's my dear phrase thanks, I'll accept it with gratitude. Well, to celebrate the success of your concert tonight, I let my family make your favorite food. Sweet and sour pork loin, please pack up and we will go home. After hearing Sun Jin say this, Fu Lei, who is used to East Asian cuisine and loves sweet and sour pork tenderloin, hurried to the shower to clean up and go home with Sun Jin. Looking at Fu Lei who ran out, Sun Jin smiled and hung the towel on the chair again, sitting on the sofa on the other side of the room and waiting for Fu Lei to finish cleaning up. At this time, Manager Joe came in, and he was excited to see Sun Jin hurried over here. Master, the concert was a great success, and the number of people watching the live broadcast is also very large, and now there are more and more news about Miss Frey on the internet. Her debut song and tonight's new song have rushed to the top 3 on the new song chart. The download data is very impressive. It can be said that Miss Frey has made her debut as an idol. Looking at the excited Manager Joe, Sun Jin calmed him down and discussed future plans with Manager Joe. After the discussion, Manager Joe said goodbye to Sun Jin to do other things. It didn't take long for Fu Lei to be back. Today Fu Lei is wearing black overalls, a red cloak-style coat outside, her straight legs wrapped in white pantyhose, black short boots, and her hair tied. With a pair of ponytails and a black peaked cap, the whole person exudes a youthful breath. Seeing Fu Lei's dress, Sun Jin's eyes lit up. As expected, what a lovely child wears is suitable. After complimenting Frey a lot, the two quietly came out from the back door and got into the car going home. When they arrived home, Sun Xian and his wife were having dinner. Sun Jin and Fu Lei hurriedly sat down to eat together, and asked the maid to serve the sweet and sour pork tenderloin, and Fu Lei ate happily. Today's concert performed very well, Fu Lei. At the dinner table, Qin Yu suddenly praised, "Hey, did Aunt Qin watch today's live broadcast?" Hearing the praise, Fu Lei stopped chopsticks and asked. "Yeah, after all, it is the first concert of our baby Frey. Although you can't go to the scene, the aunt did not miss the live broadcast. Ah, when Frey becomes famous in the future, Xiaojin, you are in danger. There will be many rivals in love." Sun Jin shook her head helplessly at the teasing of his mother. Just about to speak, Fleet on one side had already explained, "No, Fleet is already Sun Jin's fiancé, so, no, I like others." After speaking, Flay lowered her head shyly, realizing what she had said. Sun Jin on the side heard that she could only divert her attention by picking up vegetables for Fu Lei, but Qin Yu laughed in satisfaction. Sun Xian coughed when he saw this. "Xiaojin, have you been lazy at home every day? You support Fu Lei as an idol, but you are idle at home. Isn't that not a good idea? I'm obviously training. How come I get to my father and become idol, although other people certainly don't know this training?" Silently complaining, Sun Jin tried to make a request to study in the research department. "Well, it's good, if you are interested in these things, it's a good thing, the child, what do you think?" Sun Xian heard his son's request after thinking about it and asked Qin Yu's opinion. It was of course in favor of a mother who saw that his son who was not interested in anything since childhood had something he wanted to do, so Sun Jin's decision to go to the research department was settled. The next day, Sun Jin came to the research department under the leadership of his mother's secretary. A middle-aged man in his 30s came over. Master Sun Jin, hello, I am Ouji, the development director of Yongning R&D department. Shaking hands with Ouji, Sun Jin walked in under his leadership. An independent office. Master, this is your office. You can browse some basic information in this computer terminal at will. If you don't understand anything, you can come to me at any time. Then he walked out of the office to thank Zhong Ozzy from Sun Jin. The researcher came over. Director, is that child the chairman's son? Yes, I don't know why children at this age are interested in our work. Maybe these senior officials have different ideas from ordinary people. Right. Cut, what he can be interested in as a child, I don't think he can even understand the design drawings. The researcher said with some disdain. Shhh, keep quiet, these things have nothing to do with you. He is willing to stay here and let him stay, as long as it doesn't affect the work, let's go to work. Got it. It's over and the research is over. Personnel conversation. Ouji looked back at the office where Sun Jin was located, shook his head, and went to work on his own affairs. Sun Jin in the office didn't know what was going on outside. He turned on the computer and browsed the information. Most of them were basic things, such as the design information of the first-generation Ma, various tanks, weapons, and various primary operations. System software development materials. Posing his lips, looking at these technical data more than 10 years ago, Sun Jin began to search for an armor system similar to the phase shift armor. Soon, he found a set of armored vehicles. The nano armor system used. Looking at this system, Sun Jingxin said that it was you, and quickly looked at it. In the morning, Sun Jin was immersed in her study. With systematic training, Sun Jin could quickly understand this knowledge. Whenever she did not understand, she would ask Ouji for advice. Ouji saw that this young master was really here. I studied hard and learned quickly, so I started teaching hard. Director Ouji, I don't understand this place. Sun Jin pointed out a place he didn't understand for Ouji. Ouji took a look and thought that this knowledge has involved the theory of university knowledge. Surprised, this young master is too powerful, he can understand the knowledge of the university at the age of only 13, so he suppressed the surprise in his heart and began to concentrate on explaining. At this moment, Sun Jin's stomach rang suddenly, and the two of them were stunned when they heard the sound. Sun Jin couldn't help but laugh. Seeing the approachable smile of the young master, Ouji also smiled slightly. Sorry, master, I forgot it's time, you see, it's already noon. Let's go to have lunch and come back to learn what you think. After seeing that the time is already 12 noon, Ouji proposed to eat. After rubbing his stomach and finding that she was hungry, Sun Jin followed Ouji out of the office for lunch. Watching the two come out, other researchers were surprised. The director actually stayed in Sun Jin's office for almost all morning. Does this 13-year-old boy really have the talent for the director to teach? After having a hasty lunch in the cafeteria, Sun Jin said goodbye. In the afternoon, Ouji, who worked by herself, returned to the office. Sun Jin sitting in the chair patted her cheek. Okay, let's continue studying when you're full, Fulei is also working hard, and I can't let go. So Sun Jin started studying hard again. On October 25, Sun Jin, who had been studying at Yongning Research Institute for 2 months, found Ouji who was working, and gave him part of the theory of phase shift armor for review, saying that this is the system he is currently conceiving. I hope with Ouji's guidance, Ouji was shocked after reading it. It was amazing that Sun Jin could conceive this kind of system at the age of 13 years old. There is such a genius in this world, so excited Ouji immediately putting aside the work in hand and researching and developing with Sun Jin. In this way, under the guidance of Sun Jin, the progress of the phase shift armor has been greatly advanced. After another month, the two people who suffered from dark circles finally completed the research and development. Sun Jin excitedly contacted his father. Hearing that his son and the development director worked together to develop a new armor system, Sun Xian thought it was the development director who brought Sun Jin to him by the way. Sun Xian, who was very angry at this behavior, put down his work and rushed to the research department to scold his son. After a meal, I found that things were not what I had imagined. It was better to say that Sun Jin first conceived this system and looked at her son in surprise. Sun Xian, who had seen strong winds and waves, was also unable to calm down. Director Ouji, is it really a system developed by my son? Sun Xian confirmed to the development director in disbelief after reading the entire design book. It's true, General Sun, Sun Jin is the most talented person I have ever met. I can hardly believe that he can develop this kind of system with reference to the old information in just 3 months. You have also seen that with this armor system, we can make a more powerful Ma. Sun Xian nodded with emotion when he heard this. Yes, now our military strength will be strengthened. Seeing that the director and his father were thinking about adding this system to the Ma, Sun Jin shook his head helplessly. Not to mention the energy required by the system, the money it costs alone is not a mass-produced Ma. If you can bear it, then, do you want to put forward the MS design plan while ZAFT has not yet disclosed MS itself? Sun Jin thought about it carefully and decided to abandon this idea. Now a phase shift armor system has made him very conspicuous, and then put forward some designs. Even if he is the grandson of the Sun family, he has to be grabbed and sliced. I still have to wait for ZAFT's gene to find a way to get a cover after the release, and it is logical to develop an operating system and a beam weapon, which will not be too noticeable. Sun Xian on the side also took this into consideration, and quickly shook his head. Unless we install this system on the battleship, the small engine of the Ma cannot drive this system, but the battleship has enough firepower. A set of systems is optional for battleships, and if the system is actually equipped on a battleship, the funds required are sufficient to rebuild 2 battleships. Therefore, the demand for this system of battleships is not very large, and this system is not needed for the time being. I think it can be stored as a secondary secret first. In short, it's still hard work for you, Director Ouji. For this research and development, the military department will give you a second-class merit. One more thing, this developer, I wonder if you can write it as your lead and Xiaojin assisting you? Director Ouji quickly thought of the difficulty of installing this armor system after Sun Xian's reminder, but in the end Sun Xian's request made him very strange. General Sun, why is that, Sun Jin and he? He soon reacted, you mean, is it because Sun Jin is too young? Yes, if this system is submitted, my father will definitely be very happy, but other people are not necessarily so. Xiaojin's performance will definitely attract the attention of others, and this includes malicious attention. Although Sun Xian did not say clearly, as the military development director, Ouji of the Sun family's family knew that the unkind attention must be the families of the other 2 consuls, the Li family in the Goryeo region and the Sanada family in the Yamato region. A good heir is more threatening than a mediocre heir. For them, the more mediocre the other 2, the more resources they can obtain. Thinking of this, Ouji nodded heavily. I see, General Sun, but wouldn't it be too wrong for Sun Jin in this case? Sun Jin on the side understood what her father said. Muzaihu Linfeng will destroy him, especially if she is a grandson of the Sun family. Too good will definitely attract attention. It seems that she has been a bit too late recently. It's floating, and making a fortune is the kingly way. At least he can stand in front of the stage when he has enough strength, so he hastened to express his opinion. I think my father is right, Director Ouji, I am too young to stand in front of the stage now. Seeing that Sun Jin reacted quickly, both Sun Xian and Ouji nodded with satisfaction. It seems that this child is not only clever and politically intuitive, but also very keen. The next thing was very simple. Sun Xian and Ouji took over everything, including the submission of plans and subsequent development plans. Sun Jin became an outsider at once, so he consciously went to find Frey went on a date. Now Frey has one more day off a week because he has already made his debut, and today happens to be Frey's day off. Watching his son walk away, Sun Xian turned his head and told Oug director Oug, I will equip you with a class of guards during the next period of time. Once this system is handed in, someone will definitely want to steal it from you, so you must pay attention to your safety. Oug nodded silently. General Sun, this also shows how good Sun Jin is. You should be happy. Ha ha ha, yeah, my son has always been lazy, but now it makes me a big change. Hearing Oug's praise to Sun Jin, this majestic general couldn't hold back his face and smile happily. Up. This child of my own family has been called a genius since he was a child, but his wife's spoiling made Sun Jin more and more lazy. Now that he has something that interests him and works hard for it, is there anything happier than that? Sun Jin, who contacted Frey, sat in a coffee shop on the first floor of the commercial center and waited for Frey's arrival. Browsing the news on the internet, Sun Jin saw a familiar news about a biochemical accident on the L4 colonial satellite Mendel, which caused a large number of deaths. Mendel was subsequently abandoned and sterilized with gamma rays. There are rumors that the accident was planned by Blue Cosmos behind the scenes. If I remember correctly, Kira's biological parents were in the GARMRND Institute of this colonial satellite. Kira was genetically modified by his father, Yulian Xiang, to become the strongest adjuster, and the rest he also made the team and Ray. This person is simply a genius among the geniuses in the field of genes. Blue Cosmos should have attacked here for Yulian Xiang's research materials. Sun Jin, who was thinking about these things, suddenly felt someone approaching behind him. Forget about it, it should be Frey's arrival. Sure enough, with one of his hands covering his eyes, Frey's cheerful voice came, guess who I am? I guess, it's my loveliest fiancé. Sun Jin replied with a serious smile, holding back a smile. Hearing Sun Jin's answer, Fu Lei smiled and let go of her hand and twitched his ears, and sat next to Sun Jin. What the cutest fiancé, you are not shy to say this in the public. After half a year of getting along and being an idol, Frey has changed from a shy little girl to a sunny and lively girl. She has no longer called Sun Jin her brother when she has become cheerful. Looking at the girl in front of her, her long burgundy hair was dyed into cream gold with one-time hair dye and spread out randomly, with a blue ribbon tied on the right side, a pair of silver hoop earrings on her ears, and a pair of silver ring earrings on her upper body. A white turtleneck sweater, a pair of blue jeans on the lower body, and a pair of black and white sneakers on his feet. Looking at the girl in front of him, Sun Jin was a little puzzled. Fu Lei, have you grown taller? Did you just find out? I found out that I had grown taller during the physical examination a month ago, and I told you that you ignored me. Hearing Sun Jin's question, Fu Lei puffed up her cheeks and said, searching her own memory carefully, Sun Jin at UU reading www.uuganshu.com finally remembered that she was writing a plan at home that day, and Fu Lei was very happy to tell herself that she had grown taller, because the focus was on the plan, which was very perfunctory. Answered her. Thinking of this, she looked at Frey, who was a little angry, and Sun Jin folded her hands together, sorry. I was a little absent-minded that day, as a plea, I will accompany you wherever you want to go today, Frey. Fu Lei, who was pretending to be angry, pulled Sun Jin up when she heard this. You said, today I am going to buy new clothes, this commercial area, I have to finish shopping. After she finished speaking, she blinked at Sun Jin. Blink someone, don't regret it. Sun Jin patted her pectoral muscles that have been exercised. No problem. The body that has been systematically exercised every day already has some muscles. It's a trivial thing to go shopping with Frey. However, after walking around, Sun Jin found out that he didn't have enough physical strength to watch shopping. After shopping with Fu Lei, the exhausted Sun Jin finally returned home. After dinner, she lay down on the bed. Go shopping, it's really a terrible thing. After making up his mind to never annoy Fulei, Sun Jin quickly fell asleep due to fatigue. In the morning of the next day, Sun Jin got up at the normal time. After finishing her daily exercises, she washed and went downstairs to eat. Her parents had already gone out. Only Fulei was still eating breakfast at home, so she said hello to Fulei. Sun Jin also sat down to eat together. After eating, after sending Frey to the company, she went to the research department to check in and sat on the office chair. Sun Jin turned on her system, looked at the operating system and the beam weapon, and thought after a while, I decided to start learning from the operating system. After all, even live ammunition weapons can cause damage. If the operating system is not good enough, normal sports are a problem, let alone fighting, so Sun Jin started to learn the operating system. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 While ringing the bell of the new year, Sun Jin spent her first new year in this world with her family. After the new year happily, she stayed in Nanjing City. A week later, Sun Jin's family said goodbye to their grandfather and boarded the plane back to Yongning City. Sun Jin couldn't help laughing while looking at her credentials on the plane. Still looking at this, you really can't get tired of it. Fulei, who was sitting next to Sun Jin, vomited when she saw it. Of course, this is a certificate I obtained by myself. Look, it's a second lieutenant. Sun Jin shook the document in his hand with some excitement. With such a document, at the beginning of the plot, he could speak a word on the Archangel and would not be regarded as a civilian. I know, Lieutenant Sun Jin, what's the new song written for me? Fulei reached out to Sun Jin and asked Sun Jin for the new song he promised to write before. Holding the hand that Fulei stretched out, Sun Jin smiled and promised that she would write to her when she got home. Fulei wrinkled her delicate little nose and reluctantly agreed. The two chatted casually. Time passed quickly and arrived in Yongning City. I'm back finally. Sun Jin got off the plane and stretched. Holding Fulei's hand, Sun Jin followed her parents out of the exclusive passage, and got in the car that came to pick up a few people to go home. On the car, Sun Jin opened his character panel. Person, Sun Jin attack, 16 defense, 12 dodge, 15 hit, 21 skill, none mission points, 100 evaluation. Natural person recruits pilot's occupation, class pilot, mechanic. The pilot's level from D to S is 1 level every 20. Seeing her double-digit attribute, Sun Jin feels very pleased. Although the progress is very slow, she can definitely reach the red suit within 2 years at this rate. The level of the pilot may be that the plot has not yet started. There are few system tasks. The poor basics are daily tasks such as insisting on training for a month. Therefore, Sun Jin's task points are only a poor 100 points, facing the exchange mall with thousands of points at every turn. I can only change a song of 50. The progress of learning the operating system in terms of drawings is nearing the end, and it will be completed in a while. Because of the special Ma plan, the operating system has its place to play. A section of the system was handed over to Ouji to take the lead in the development, while Sun Jin studied in the system. Frey is also becoming more and more famous. Thanks to her own efforts and the company's active publicity, she has now become well known in the entire Republic. Frey has to use hair dye to disguise her daily life, and everything is developing in a good direction. Back home, Fulei followed Qin Yu to go shopping, and Sun Xian went to the study to handle the military affairs of the new year. Only Sun Jin had nothing to do, so Sun Jin returned to her room and prepared to exchange the new song that Fulei promised. Come out. Since the bonus attributes of the two existing songs are focused on attack, in order to balance the attributes, Sun Jin began to look for songs that add dodge and hit. Picked a lot. Selected 2 songs: dodge attribute plus 10, hit attribute plus 5, song skill, love all attributes plus 10, song skill, none. After careful consideration, I felt that there was nothing to exchange for these 100 points. Sun Jin decided to exchange the 2 capitals and put away the lyrics of the 2 songs that had been exchanged. Sun Jin began to exercise. After all, he had been celebrating the festival in Nanjing. Following his father to visit the senior figures of the Sun family, he didn't have time to exercise. After all, he couldn't ride the Gundam all the time. When he was unarmed, he must have a certain ability to protect himself. So Sun Jin has been consciously exercising since he crossed over. After exercising in the evening, the family members came back one after another. Sun Jin finished the exercise, and after dinner together, they went back to their rooms, and the day passed slowly. On the second day, Sun Jin entered the system to study the third drawing in the morning and exercise in the afternoon. After working out for a whole afternoon, I finished the exercise with satisfaction. After taking a shower, I went out to pick up Frey with the redeemed song. On the way to the company, by the way, I bought the puffs from a dessert shop that Frey liked recently. When he rushed to the company, Fu Lei had not finished the class of the day, so she greeted Manager Zhou and sat in the rest area at the entrance of the dance studio and waited for Fu Lei to come out. With a sigh of relief, Fu Lei took the towel handed over by the teacher, and while wiping her sweat, she confirmed with the teacher whether there were any shortcomings in today's dance. After the discussion, Fu Lei thanked the teacher and walked out of the dance studio and found the opposite side of the dance studio. Sun Jin was already waiting there. Happy Fu Lei walked over to Sun Jin and sat down. Sun Jin handed over the box containing the puffs, took one to eat, and picked up the other to feed Sun Jin. Seeing Sun Jin a little helpless but obediently eating, Fu Lei laughed. I bought something delicious for me today because my dear Lieutenant Sun Jin hasn't written a new song yet, so I want me to give you a few days of grace. Sun Jin touched his nose. How could it be that I just want to buy it for you? Don't you believe me? Here, the new song is finished. He took out the new score and handed it to Frey. Puchang, hey, it should be a good song by the name. After receiving a praise from the song's name, Fu Lei looked at the lyrics seriously. From Fu Lei's expression, Sun Jin could see her I like this song very much. Looking at the girl's delicate face and focused eyes, because of the sweat-soaked temples, tall nose and pink lips, Sun Jin smiled softly. Sure enough, her fiancé is very cute. Fu Lei, who was reading the lyrics, noticed Sun Jin's gaze, raised her head to meet his eyes, tilted her head slightly, and her clear grey eyes were gleaming. I think you are very cute Free. Sun Jin couldn't help but get close when she saw Free, with her forehead pressed against her forehead, and said with a smile. The two of them got close together, feeling each other's breath, and laughed at the same time. The nose rubbed Sun Jin's nose, her beautiful eyes narrowed into a crescent, and her smile was like a flower. It won't do any good to praise me suddenly. I'm telling the truth. Sun Jin went back. I know, I know. The two were tired for a while, and Frey finished watching the new song. Satisfied to put down the score. This song is also great. Sometimes I'm really curious about how you wrote these nice songs. Because there is a system behind me, Sun Jin, who quietly complained in his heart, said that she was a little narcissistic. Hair because I am a genius. Yes, yes, you are a great genius. Fu Lei said with a smile at Sun Jin's narcissistic actions. After eating the remaining puffs while chatting, Frey went to the restroom to clean up, and the two went home together. If you see the sky, it won't change if you hear my trembling voice. The dancing body seems to be broken at any time. The boundless wings in the torn memory. I still remember that day we had a long conversation. Can't help but smile at each other from beginning to end. Can only face tough until the day of awakening. Destroy it. Feel my existence more and more. Where are you there? The life blooming on the battlefield. Burn it, kill it. If you die in decay, I would rather cut off the end of this destruction. Wake up the miracle. Fly to the closed sky on the giant display on the street. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Fu Lei's new song PV is playing. In the PV, Fu Lei is wearing a white single-sleeved shirt with a umbilical cord, and her left shoulder is decorated with lavender pleated spun yarn. A pair of the same white shorts, decorated with a large lavender spun yarn on the right, a large pink bow at the waist, and a pair of white thick-heeled leather shoes. The whole person is full of heroism. With the gorgeous background, people can look at her involuntarily. The new song has been on sale for a week, and the popularity is gradually rising. The PV is playing on the screens on the street. Frey's reputation has further spread. Now it has reached the tune of men and women, young and old, who will hum this song. Sun Jin knew about it. Very satisfied, it seems that good songs will be loved by people wherever they go. And shortly after the new song was released, on March 16, Speaker Higel Klein converted the 7th to 10th districts of Junius City into a food production area, which was discovered by the council and issued an advisory. It also stated that even if the power of the council is to be used, the matter must be ruled out. In fact, a deterrent action has been taken. At this time, the existence of the military organization ZAFT and MS Gene was public for the first time. The first military operation of the MS troops defeated the Ma troops on the Earth by an overwhelming advantage, and successfully eliminated the space forces of the governing nations residing in the universe. Sun Jin, who saw these news, knew that he could put forward the MS plan that he had prepared long ago, because General Dwayne Hal Batten, commander of the 8th Orbital Fleet of the Earth United Forces, proposed the code name after discovering the availability of MS. For the G-Series Gundam manufacturing plan, I have to plan early, and strive to build my own dedicated machine before the G-Series is completed. Thinking of this, Sun Jin turned on the system to continue learning. Ouji, who was working at work, suddenly heard a knock on the door and said, "Please come in." It turned out to be Sun Jin. "Sun Jin, what's the matter, what's the matter?" "Director Ouji, this is my plan." Sun Jin handed him a terminal, which was designed after Sun Jin spent 2 months learning the beam weapon system. Good Gundam plan. Ozzy connects the terminal to the computer. General Neural Link Dispersive Autonomic Maneuver Synthesis System, referred to as Gundam, is powered by battery energy packs. Phase Transfer Armor System is used for protection, human-shaped mobile weapons. Equipped weapons are beam weapons. The detailed manufacturing principle and manufacturing technology are all written on the plan. After reading this plan, Ouji was deeply shocked. If he only invented a phase shift armor, he would be a genius. Next, Sun Jin's development of the miniaturization of beam weapons is no longer just a genius. With this young man, Ouji felt that he was more like an adjuster than an adjuster. Take a deep breath and relax. Did you propose this plan because you saw ZAFT's Gene? The MSOUG named Gene, who was active in ZAFT's military operations a few days ago, also saw it from the news. At that time, he also had the idea of developing a similar body. But the operating system required by such a large MS must be extremely complicated, and the drivers who rely on their natural humans must not be able to control it, so he just thought about it. But he did not expect that Sun Jin not only thought about it with him, but also wrote the plan. "Yes, I think the weapon of war will become the mainstream in the future." Thinking of the following plot, Sun Jin said the truth. "I have thought about you, but have you considered the operating system? We can't control this weapon by our natural human drivers alone. Have you forgotten the Ma operating system I gave you before? In fact, after that, I also carried out in-depth development myself, and now I have completed 80%. Hearing Sun Jin's progress, Ouji was shocked again. Because the operating system he took the lead in research and development was only half completed, Ouji was a little frustrated when he felt the gap, but he adjusted his mind quickly and looked at the system developed by Sun Jin in detail. After reading it, Ouji believes that this system is still not suitable for mass production. Sun Jin expressed his own thoughts. With the population base of the Republic, there will always be people who can adapt, and he is the person who is most familiar with the system. Why not make it first a test machine was driven by himself and then developed a mass production machine based on the experience gained? After listening to Sun Jin's thoughts, Ouji was also bright, so he quickly contacted Sun Xian, and Sun Jin persuaded him through the ready-made battlefield report. Sun Xian, after the three people discussed, Sun Xian decided to hand over the MA plan being developed by the Yongning R&D department to the Nanjing Research Institute for Development, and Yongning started the MS plan. After the negotiated plan was urgently reported to Sun Xuan, the old man agreed to the plan and named it Yinglong, so Sun Jin finally got his wish and started his own Gundam manufacturing plan. Yinglong Series No. 1 Testing Machine Yinglong Gundam Height, 18.5 meters Weight, Undecided Energy, Battery Energy Pack Armor, Phase Transfer Armor Weapons, Right-handed Compound Gun and Sword Outfit, Left-hand Unfolding Diamond-Shaped Shield, Backpack, 2 Beam Swords. Next, the entire Yongning city from the R&D department to the manufacturing plant began the R&D and manufacturing of the airframe intensively, and the alert level of these two places was also mentioned as the highest. Time passed like this. Since it was the first time in all aspects, the manufacturing progress of the test machine was not as fast as Sun Jin thought. Although Sun Jin has learned the principles, the actual manufacturing is not as simple as imagined. It can be completed within a few months, but half a year has passed, and the progress of the project is only 30% completed. Sun Jin had a headache and had no choice but to stop thinking about it for the time being, and change her mindset with hard work. CE 69 August 27 multilateral negotiations with the council members failed, and a statement was issued that if Speaker Hegel Klein requested autonomy and reciprocal trade on January 1, 70, he would not respond to this and would stop exporting resources to the earth. Both parties the relationship is getting worse and worse, and because of the propaganda of the council, the people on the earth are opposed to it, and the consciousness of those who oppose the adjustment has become stronger. Considering that the situation is getting worse, and in order to protect Sun Jin from being noticed by spies from various countries, Sun Jin was removed from the phase shift armor system developers. Sun Xian decided to let him go to Ober's resource satellite Heliopo with Frey. The technical college in Lis is just about to start, and the two should enter the academy to study. After discussing with them, Sun Jin, who learned that he was going to Heliopolis, was so excited that he didn't know where to look. What an excuse to go here! It's really sleepy to give a pillow, and I immediately agreed. Seeing Sun Jin's readily agreed, Frey considered it for a while and agreed. That night, Frey announced that she would temporarily stop idle activities and she was going to learn. There was a warning on the internet, but fans could also understand that, after all, Frey still had to study and blessed her. Seeing Fule, who was a little sad on the sofa holding her knees, Sun Jin hugged her without uttering any comforting words, because she said that she wanted to enroll at the beginning. Fule was an idol. Suddenly, thinking of the father-in-law who had no time to see Fule because of the increasingly tense situation, Sun Jin laughed. Hearing Sun Jin's laughter, Fule looked at him incomprehensibly. What's wrong? Because I suddenly thought of your father, Frey. You see that he loves you very much, but he hasn't seen you a few times because of his busy schedule. I feel a little sympathetic to him. Thinking of his father every time he comes to see him, he has to fly again. When he went abroad, Fule also laughed and pinched Sun Jin's waist. Also, it's all because of being an idol, and I don't even have time to take the initiative to see my dad, because this dad is very angry with you. I don't think that for this reason, my father-in-law would be angry too. After all, I took away his biggest treasure. When Fule heard Sun Jin calling her father-in-law, she poked Sun Jin shyly. I haven't married your father. What kind of father-in-law? I don't know how to be ashamed. Sun Jin was relieved when she saw Fule regained her spirit. Resource Satellite Heliopolis Technical Institute Gate. Sun Jin and Fule, who have already arrived, looked a little dazzled by the many reports of the new life. Turning over her terminal, it showed that she was a student of the System Development Department. She glanced at the admission instructions and confirmed her dormitory. Sun Jin turned her head and looked at Fule. My dormitory is in Building 5, Zone A. Fule, what about you? I'm at number 3 in Area B, and I'm just across from Area A when I'm looking at the map. Fule, who had the same professional as Sun Jin, looked at her terminal and said. Seeing that some freshmen around had noticed Free, Sun Jin hurriedly led Free to find a place to live in the dormitory area. Helped Fulei find the room. After helping her to settle down, Fulei cleaned up the room by herself and waited for her roommate. Sun Jin also found her own room, room 03 on the 5th floor. Open the door with her student ID. Sun Jin observes there are 2 rooms and 1 living room. Although it is a bit small, it is simple and bright. After blowing a whistle with satisfaction, Sun Jin opened the bedroom on the left and began to organize her belongings. The beddings are already made, and the clothes she brought were hung up. Sun Jin began to choose courses. At this moment, the sound of the door opened. It should be his roommate, and he walked out of the room, with brown hair and purple pupils, the thin young man carrying his luggage, and Sun Jin met his sight. When she reached a familiar face, Sun Jin was stunned, and the teenager saw his roommate come out, stretched out his hand and introduced himself. Hello, you are my roommate, my name is Kira Yamato, please take care of me. Ah! Hearing Kira's words, Sun Jin, who was still stupefied, came back to her senses. My name is Sun Jin, hello. As she shook Kira's hand, she was a little excited, but she didn't expect her roommate to be a man. Kira, one of the protagonists, is fine, as long as I have a good relationship with Kira in the next days, it is okay to act together after the plot begins. In this way, the 2 teenagers officially became roommates. At dinner time, Sun Jin asked Shangkila to eat together in the cafeteria, found a place, and the 2 sat down face to face. Kira, what's your professional? System Development Department. How about you, Sun Jin? What a coincidence, I am too, now we can go to get out of class together. I heard that Kira is also in System Development Department. Student, Sun Jin said happily that the 2 are classmates in the same department, and the chances of becoming friends in the future are very high. For this teenager, Sun Jin still likes it when he watches anime, and can be his friend to himself. Said it is the best thing. While the 2 were chatting, Fulei sent a message telling her where she was. After a while, Fulei also rushed over with her roommate. Sun Jin laughed when she saw Fulei's roommate. Is it really true? Is it because of the reason that I crossed over? The acquaintances in the plot have all appeared, and Frey's roommate is actually Mirialia Hau. The 4 UU reading www.uuganshu.com introduced each other. Kira recognized Frey and asked for an autograph from Frey. Sun Jin, who thought that Frey was only famous on the earth, was a little surprised. It seemed that she was in school. I can't take it easy anymore. There must be some Frey fans who have discovered that Frey is here, and they have to protect Frey every day. Kira and Mirialia were very surprised when they learned that Sun Jin was Frey's fiancé. After agreeing to keep the secret, the few happily ate dinner together. The school meal was unexpectedly good, and the meal was given away. Fulei and the 2 women returned to the dormitory, and Sun Jin and Kira also walked towards their dormitory. Unexpectedly, Sun Jin, you are Fulei's fiancé. Why, Kira, do you like Frey too? Sun Jin tentatively hugged Kira's shoulders when she heard Kira's emotions. Hearing Sun Jin's words, Kira's delicate face flushed a bit. No, I'm just a fan of Ms. Frey, and I think Sun Jin, you and Frey are also a good match. Hearing Kira's answer, Sun Jin the hanging heart was let go. It seems that the plot has been changed by himself, so he rubbed Kira's hair. Thank you for the compliment, how about it, Kira, how do you feel about Miriaria? I think you can too try to chase after her. After training and development, Sun Jin has now grown to 1.7 meters, which is a head higher than Kira, who is only 1.6 meters, so he rubbed Kira's hair familiarly. Rubbing it away, the good-tempered Kira didn't mind the actions of her new roommate. We just met, okay, and Miriaria is not my type. Then what kind of little devil do you like, sister, elegant? Is it possible that you like me? But I'm sorry, I like girls. Sun Jin said strangely under the artificial night lights. The two teenagers who had just met quickly got acquainted with each other, chatting about unnutritious topics, and slowly walked towards the dormitory.